Hello, and welcome back to What If I Was in the Dragon Ball Universe, Part 10. Last time, Raditz made his scheduled stop on Earth, only to be waylaid by Raisin, having an impromptu family reunion with his brother Kakarot, or as he's known on Earth, Goku. Raisin intentionally allowed Nappa and Vegeta to listen to the conversation through the scouter before having it disabled by Bulma and giving it into Capsule Corp's custody to kind of reverse engineer the new technology. King Kai then notified the group that the Saiyans were coming to Earth, and the Dragon team started preparing for the Saiyan invasion, although Raisin is less too concerned. He knows that Frieza is roughly 1,000 times stronger than Captain Ginyu, who in turn is 6 times stronger than Vegeta, so the prince of all 7.5 Saiyans is the least of Raisin's concern. Regardless, he does have some suggestions about how to prepare for the new alien visitors. Raditz, who is still kind of in the evil camp, although after seeing Raisin's full power is less interested in fighting back, will stay with his brother's family and make frequent visits to the lookout for special training with Kami, and more on that later. Now in the Cell arc, Goku was able to use instant transmission to visit King Kai's planet, despite the fact that that planet is in the other world of the land of the dead. So I'm going to assume that Raisin, who's had more time to practice with the technique, to be able to go there as well, bringing new students to his master. I'm going to say Tien and Chaozu would be the good recipients of this training, as Tien could definitely use the modifier that is Kaioken, while Chaozu would have better luck with the Kenkeidama, the Spirit Bomb. I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that word, the Japanese translation, correctly, as frankly Chaozu really does nothing but stand in the background, so being able to charge up a Spirit Bomb would be a better use of his time than his normal stick. Now, Yamcha, I'm going to say, declines the offer to train with King Kai, because, like in canon, he's not really a career warrior like the rest of them. Not training, he gave up that to be a baseball player, and now he's even a father, so he doesn't really want to train in the King Kai's planet for a year without seeing his daughter. While he can still train somewhat at the Kami House Dojo, and now he can train with Neji, as she is not so much an expert. Actually, she's not a master, but she is an expert at spirit control. And so Yamcha can learn instant transmission, so he would be able to spend more time off-world and be able to return on a moment's notice. And I think spirit control would synergize well with the Spirit Ball technique that Yamcha at one point used quite frequently. Now, Roshi would also get some benefits from this training, although it would be mostly through the Raisin and Nezi's daughter, Miyu, who would be training at the dojo, because basically be learning the more standardized training, because she had spent most of her time on Yardrak learning, ki control, not so much fighting, so martial arts is something that she could learn from the old master. Of course, Roshi would be more interested in using instant transmission for more, devious means. Though, oddly enough, he does seem to respect the marriage quite effectively, so I doubt he'd actually put a move on Nezi, as he doesn't seem to do that with Chi-Chi or Bulma whenever they are also married. Now, while Raisin is dropping off Tien and Chaozu on the King Kai's planet, he would talk to the Kai of the North Galaxy about the location of Namek, having heard about it on Yardrak, as they were knowledgeable about the Green Slug Man that gave him so much trouble on Earth. Visiting Namek, he would come in peace, and that'd be genuine, eventually making his way to the Master Guru, the Elder of the planet, and using Guru's mind reading, would learn that what Raisin wants, to have Krillin and Piccolo come to Namek. Krillin would be learning under the Guru himself to be the guardian of Earth, as Guru is the guardian of Namek, while Piccolo would be kind of under probation with Nail. So after a quick trip back to Earth, getting the willing Krillin and dragging Piccolo against his will back to his home planet. Now back to Goku. As I said, that he'd be spending about half his time with his family on Mount Pavu. Sorry, I can't say that word right now. And showing Raditz that it's not bad to be good. And Raditz, for all his grumbling about, would actually enjoy the carefree lifestyle that he's not had since his home planet was destroyed by Frieza. Although I'm not sure if Raditz actually knew about that fact. It's during this time that Chi-Chi, who was again pregnant with their second child, would give birth to Goten. And Raditz would want Gohan to take the warrior race's pride into hand and would take up the Piccolo role of training his nephew. Now, the other half of the time, the brothers would go to the Kami's lookout with a focus on inner strength, meditation, and self-control and the like. Basically, trying to hammer down Raditz being a better person. I'm going to say they're going to use the Pendulum Room, even though that is a filler arc in the storyline, but I think it's a rather useful concept for what I have in mind for him. As I don't agree with the Universe's 6's tingly back concept, but I think combining that focus of inner strength with the stressful magical VR that was the Pendulum Room would unlock Super Saiyan for the brothers. And throughout this, Raisin would kind of be everywhere, as he has improved his duplication technique so he can literally be the 4 places at once, although he would be significantly weaker in all 4 locations. Krillin, under Guru, would have his potential unlocked, as well as get his wish granted to become the new Master of Shenron, having the Dragon Balls now linked to the short Earthling. Another wish would be probably used to shield Namek against malevolent forces, and the third wish would be whatever the native Namekians would want it for. I don't know, they don't really need to eat, but I'm sure they could find some use for it. Now, during this time, Piccolo would have basically be under rehabilitation, kind of bonding with Dende the same way he bonded with Gohan in canon. And eventually, Kami would think that he has become good enough to make him an offer to regain their former power, fusing with Piccolo. And although Piccolo would be against this because part of him still is recently the Demon King, they would eventually fuse, and Piccolo would gain the benefit of the knowledge of being, the guardian of Earth for what is it, close to 300 years? Okay, so at the end of this year, I'm going to just do a quick summary. We have Gohan, who, under the training of both his father and Raditz, having a lot more support from his family, with Chi-Chi being on board, and having more of an efficient training, because Piccolo was rather, let's say, special in his training methods. Gohan reaches 12,000 for his power level. Not shabby, considering at this same time in canon he only had about a tenth of that. Chaozu similarly increased to 15,000 as he had spent a year on 10 times Earth gravity on King Kai's planet. Tien increased similar to Goku did in canon, now up to 90,000, and able to use Kaioken times 2. Krillin got his potential unlocked, which in the original story had him go from barely 2,000 to 75,000 power level. So I did a very conservative estimate and put him at 200,000. Piccolo, who fused with Kami. Now, again, we don't have an exact number on how much fusing goes, but I kind of went with the sum of the individual power levels times 5. So he's going to be 150,000 for power level. Goku was able to get 10 times for himself as well, is at 86,000, which makes him actually weaker than Tien or Krillin or Piccolo at this point, but he does have a Super Saiyan for short bursts, or, he hasn't quite got it down yet, because that took quite a while for him initially, but he is now at 4.3 million as a Super Saiyan. Raditz increased quite a bit. He is now at 30,000 base form, and has Super Saiyan as well, at 1.5 million, but again, he has even less control as more the rage-filled version that Goku initially unlocked on Namek. When Vegeta and Nappa do finally arrive, they have been sensed beforehand by the Assorted Party and are greeted by the Z-Fighters. Raditz takes the lead and tells his two former comrades to stand down. Of course, Vegeta's Saiyan pride won't allow this and sends Nappa into fight, and Raditz takes great pleasure in showing off the prince his newfound strength, easily defeating Nappa, although noticeably not killing the brute, telling the prince that it's time for the Saiyan race to be avenged. And that's where we're going to cut off for this time. Please enter in the comments below what you think we should do. Who should Raditz end up with? Because he has been on Earth for a year now. We have Nappa, who is he going to be okay with this new Earth life? And what does Vegeta think about being overpowered by a lowest class Saiyan? And visit me next time, and please comment below.